Okay. So it's another personal question. So if you had any challenges or any setbacks or moments of self-doubt along the way, and how have you dealt with these?
I think there's always those moments of self-doubt. I remember when I first put the idea forward and was going to set up, there was quite a few other occupational therapists who were really doubtful, and he kind of said why and who and why you to do that, and that really shook me to begin with.
Yeah.
And that is lots of occupational therapists and the health professionals come and go, oh, that's great. I want to do some and chat through it. But at the beginning, there was quite a lot of negativity about stepping out and doing something. And I'm not kind of sure where that came from. That always kind of
Mm.
sometimes resonates of going, oh, am I the right person to do this? But actually, if anyone's got an idea and there's no one else doing it, then in the air, you're the person to go and do it and
Yeah.
bring people along with you. It's not just about you doing the thing, it's about kind of doing it with others. But I suppose if you can't moan about things if you're not going to do something to change them. So yeah, that sometimes niggles. I think my own mental health sometimes and running an organization and setting something up can be quite lonely.
Mm.
And then that has its own kind of factors as well. But it's quite a lonely process. And I think sometimes that's been really hard. It
Mm.
asks for a lot of hours, asks for a lot of energy. Um, and that at some points definitely had dips of going, what am I doing and can I do this? And when it came to kind of taking people on to join the team and handing some of those things over, and sometimes they don't go quite right, and you've got to get the right people as well, and there's been some really hard moments of yeah, a bit of self-doubt, a bit of why am I doing this? It's just taking so much time and energy. When we had the planning permission saga with the woodlands, that was really tricky. And at some points, you're like, I just want to support young people. I just want to help people. But there's all these barriers and red tape in the way, and that can be quite a little bit soul destroying at points. But then you go into sessions with young people, and like, no, this is why I'm doing it. And
Yeah.
actually, there's nothing I can't get through to make sure that they get the support. So it does bring you back up again. But yeah, I think it can be lonely.
Mm.
I've got a really great partner. He's very supportive and friends. But I think when you're holding everything in your head and trying to juggle all the different funding pots as well as being an OT and
Mm.
policies, procedures, payroll, accounts, and all the different elements with it's yeah, it can be challenging.
Yeah, and I guess that's where the peer support from the people you met at the course you went on must have been a really good source of support as well. Jumping around a
Yeah,
bit with
there's been some
questions.
really great people along the way.
Hmm. I think our internet syncs a little bit out. But yeah, jumping around a bit with the questions. Do you try and explain what OT is to the young people and their families? And if you do you use certain sort of models or theories to help explain OT to them?
Yeah, I'm very passionate about people knowing what occupational therapy is, and that's what we're doing. So often, because we're based at a forest school site, people will be, "Oh, I'm going to forest school," and like, no, it's an occupational therapy session, and it's there for a specific reason. So talking to the young people, the way I explain it is occupational therapy looks at what do you want to do, what do you need to do, and what is getting in the way of that. And that can be anything from any area of their life. It doesn't have to be just around school. I think sometimes people think it's just school, but we really look at those transitions of where people want to go to in life or the things that they enjoy that they might be struggling doing. So I think the young people really understand that there's no kind of topics off limits. If they want to talk about relationships or drugs or anything that's going on in their lives or their friends' lives and they're curious about or they're not quite sure how they feel or where they stand on that,
Mm.
they know that occupational therapy isn't just about, oh, I do this and it helps me with handwriting or whatever it is. It's occupational therapy is this because it helps for who I am, where I want to go, and the way I want to do it. I think they get that really well, and I think then people click that our name has OT in it, and they're like, that's why you're called what you're called, and they know that we're a really kind of prominent we're very pro occupational therapy in our service. Models wise, I said we use the VDT mocker, the Vonnegut Toit model of creative ability. And it's quite a complex model, but it's a really nice model for looking at how we support young people to move to achieve different levels of ability. And the whole team, so the occupational therapists and the team trained in it, and the youth workers and woodland facilitator are now going to be doing their training in it. It means that a lot of our assessment is observational. It's not necessarily that we're getting the young people to fill in outcome measures. They'll set their goals and we will support them to achieve those goals through our observations and through the model. But what we find is that young people sometimes find the filling in outcome measures quite arbitrary, or it feels like a test, and if they haven't improved, then that's not good enough. And actually sometimes it's not about improvement, it's about understanding. And if I don't know, if a goal is that I want to be better at, pick something really random, spelling, it might be that they're still not that great at spelling, but they're able to concentrate, or they've learned a skill, or they know why they can't. They might not be able to sit down for very long, or actually they're feeling really low in mood. So if we can impact those things, spelling might still be the same, but they have better understanding and kind of control over the situation, which I think is a nice way. And that can be quite hard to measure on a questionnaire outcome measure.
Yeah, absolutely. And cup of tea in the future, what's in store? What other projects can you see yourself getting involved with?
Well, I think definitely looking at how we develop our training arm. I mean, long future goal is to have lots of smaller cup of teas around the country. So having a look at what our model is, really defining the model of how we do things. I go and lecture at a number of different universities, and I go up to Cumbria, or I go up to York, and there's always kind of going, oh, we could do with that here, or down in Plymouth, we could do with that there. And so to have lots of different kind of mini cup of teas everywhere, and then my role would change into kind of that training, quality assurance, doing visits to kind of make sure that it meets that model, would be a really nice 15-20 year plan. But in the short term, it's making the most of the office we've got. We've just taken on a therapy room next door. We've just got the shelter being built in the woodlands this week, so make most of that, getting as many families. As I said, it's how we demonstrate that the model that we're doing is really working, and kind of honing that in so that we can maybe write something about that, whether it's publishing something or creating a training around supporting other therapists to do a similar way of work.
Yeah, amazing. And last question, then you can go and enjoy your evening. What advice have you got for OTs who they've got an idea to start their own project, whatever it is, or a social enterprise, but they don't know where to start, how to get funding, or they just don't have the confidence? What would you say to them?
I would look to see what's happening locally in the area, and who your kind of local social enterprise, not-for-profit, PCSE forums are. So we have Norfolk Community Foundation, we've got Voluntary Norfolk, and they've got lots of different courses on and lots of things available. And that's how I found out about that kind of 6-week startup taster course. But going and shadowing and reaching out and asking how they did it is really good. And a lot of the startup ones, you just have to have an inkling of an idea. You don't have to have a fully formed plan, and they'll support you to kind of develop that and see if it's a kind of reasonable and tangible idea that can go forward. So go and have a look to see what other people are doing. Don't just stick to the world of OT, because there's lots of social enterprises and non-for-profits that are doing incredible things that aren't necessarily OT, but could do with an OT. So even if you think, I don't want to start something up by myself, you could go, actually, I've got so much to offer doing this thing, because if they had OT, I could really enhance and demonstrate what they do, and then add to their service. So it could be around collaboration and consistency, not necessarily start something up from scratch.
Great advice, thank you. Thanks so much for your time. It's been brilliant chatting with you. Apologies for the horrendous internet connection at the end.
No, thank you for your time. It's been really lovely chatting to you.
And I'll pop the website address for Cup of Tea onto the write-up, because it's a great website. It's just lovely to look at, and there's just all sorts of information about everything that you guys are up to. So yeah, so thanks ever so much for your
Thank
time.
you. Yeah, that'd be great. So the website's going to be changing, so the phone's will be going off. But no, thank you.
Okay then, take care.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye then, bye bye.